Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. Chapter 15. Episode 4, Line of Hypocrisy, 1. A meteor shower was pouring down in the starry sky. It was a sight that anyone would admire, but not Yu Jonghyuk. It is starting. The meteor shower was the precursor to the third main scenario starting. Now Seoul would be destroyed one by one according to the scenario. Yu Jonghyuk looked up at the sky before bowing his head and looking at the Han River. The landscape around Dongo Bridge was quite desolate since the large group of ichthyosaurs had recently moved downstream. It was too much. It had already been 3 days since Kim Dokja entered Han River. It might have been too much to demand that he catch the ichthyosaur at the first level. Indeed, it would be hard for me to catch an ichthyosaur in 3 days. But it would be impossible to take him if he couldn't do this much. If he couldn't even do this much, it would only hinder Yu Jonghyuk. A profit isn't a big deal. Yu Jonghyuk closed his eyes with disappointment. He would go on his own again. Without any companions. It wasn't a big deal. He had been alone all this time. This time I will definitely change it. Yu Jonghyuk turned around. But maybe he had turned away too soon. Asterisk. Wait. What? I blinked several times but could only see a gray-white ceiling. I was still inside the ichthyosaur. I turned my head and saw the surprised Bai Hyung. I had a dream. Oh, are you trying to raise curiosity? It isn't bad. I didn't mean to do such a thing, but I didn't mind the misunderstanding. A few constellations want you to move to a new place quickly. I used 500 coins to buy the Elaine Forest's vital force to help me sleep. I thought it was too dangerous to move while exhausted. The Elaine Forest's vital force quickly recovered fatigue and wounds in exchange for 2 hours of sleep. In other words, it was an expensive item. I really want to go out. I talked to myself while stretching my body. The dream I just had was still clear. Maybe it wasn't a dream. Kwajajijik. I heard the sound of an electric current scattering and Bai Hyung disappeared without a word. Maybe he went to do his job. I sighed with relief. The stream contract with the Dakibi. It was a gamble that I never would have attempted if I hadn't known about Bai Hyung from ways of survival. But I did it with surprising calm. I never succeeded in any contracts in real life. The exclusive skill, fourth wall, is in use. This was real. I inserted strength to my right hand holding the thorn. I really thought this world was reality. A few constellations want you to act. Well, there was no time to worry about it. I swung the thorn as hard as I could at the stomach wall that lost its elasticity. At the same time, there was the sound of something collapsed and water pouring out. I plunged into Han River. Pwah! Fortunately, I didn't see any other ichthyosaurs. Small seawater species approached with curiosity but no hostility was felt. Not all creatures would attack humans. Dongo Bridge was over there. I used a piece of the ichthyosaur corpse as a flotation device and made my way towards dry land. My skin was cold from the cold water but I couldn't worry about it. After 30 minutes of swimming, my hand reached land. A few constellations are nervous looking at you. Normally, danger would immediately come after this message popped up. The constellation Abyssal Black Flame Dragon is making an insidious smile. It was a pity for the constellations but something bad wouldn't happen to me. It was because I already knew the dangers. You have entered the region of the second main scenario. The land in the scenario area is deeply polluted. Be careful about your breathing and move underground as quickly as possible. The message said this, but in fact, I shouldn't be on the ground from the moment this scenario started. Why? Look at my skin now. You have been exposed to poisonous fog. The skin touched by the violet fog turned black. Kaya. Once I followed the source of the fog with my eyes, I saw a monster making terrible cries. It was a massive monster over 30 meters big. This fog was the fart of the Grade 7 monster, Great Poisonous Rhinoceros. The rhino snorted and confronted a monster in the fog, which seemed to be an insect king species based on the shadow. Qua. The struggle in this new world wasn't just for humans. The monsters were also fighting for their homes. I moved while holding my breath as much as possible. They were grade 7 monsters like the ichthyosaur, but I couldn't do with them right now. In the first place, I could kill the sea commander. Because I was prepared. You have used the Elaine monkey's lungs. The monkey's lungs was an item I bought in advance that could be used as a substitute for an air purifier for 20 minutes. A few constellations admire your readiness. The above-ground station, Oxa Station, had already been destroyed. The nearest underground station from here was Gumho Station. Maybe the others had moved there. I moved quickly while avoided the small species that were eating the corpses. I only had 20 minutes, so I needed to move as quickly as possible while securing supplies. The first thing I needed was clothes. My outerwear was melted by the ichthyosaur's fluids, so it was necessary. Of course, there were many of them all around, but I felt uncomfortable. It couldn't be helped. I searched some bodies and grabbed clothes that roughly fit. Then I headed to a nearby convenience store. I grabbed a few plastic bags and swept in food randomly. Food would be a valuable trading item after going underground. I filled 3 or 4 bags like this. It seemed that the color of the monkey's lungs was becoming increasingly darker. There wasn't much time left. Then I heard someone's voice. Help me. There was someone still alive. A young woman was lying down in a corner. The poisoning was progressing on the surface of the skin, but the toxic condition wasn't severe due to the mask she was wearing. Her jacket was half removed and a bit of her skirt was torn. Are you okay? Can you stand? Ah! Was there such an extra in ways of survival? I wanted to take a closer look, but I didn't have enough time. I picked up the woman and ran to Gumho Station. I turned and a side street appeared. Now the distance to Gumho Station was 100 meters in a straight line. I breathed in and started to run. With all my strength. I could see the exit 3 sign in the distance. Closed. Then on the other side, there was a fire shutter down at every exit due to the disaster situation. I could break the shutter with his thorn, but if I did it wrong, the people inside might be damaged. Exit 4. Unexpectedly, the woman I was carrying was helpful. I ran towards exit 4. Then I found a fire shutter that was rolling down. I placed the thorn in the gap of the shutter that was trying to close. Somebody yelled out. Shit, what is this? Open the door. And no. You can't come in. Go away. There is a wounded person. We are already in a full state. We don't need any more people. It was full of people. Strange. Was there such a development? I don't care about that. I used the thorn as a lever and lifted the shutter as hard as possible. Since I used the coins to increase my strength to level 10, I now had the strength of half a dozen adult males. Yuaak. There was a loud sound and the people on the other side of the shutter became nervous. Run away. The scared men escaped into the darkness of the underground passage. I entered the station safely, lowered the shutter and put the girl down on the floor. You have entered the safety zone. The poisonous fog didn't come down to the underground area. There was no possible scientific explanation. It was just because of the scenario. Put this in your mouth. I took off the woman's mask and handed over the monkey's lungs. It wouldn't completely cure her, but it would have a neutralizing effect. A faint groan emerged from the mouth of the woman. The woman who was abandoned. I suddenly wondered about her information. This woman, it was likely that she had died in the original development. A voice was heard as I was about to use character list. There he is. Light from a flashlight approached in the darkness. My eyes narrowed as I saw men holding metal pipes. The constellation, prisoner of the golden headband, frowns at the appearance of the uninvited people. A big man in the middle opened his mouth. His body was well balanced, so he must be a strong person. Who are you? At this moment, I was strangely struck dumb. What should I say when this happened? I thought for a moment before speaking. Like you. Jongyuk. Kim Dokja. Kim Dokja. That is your name? Yes. Who asked that? What is this bastard? It was a more difficult question. You are. That woman. One of the men found the woman beside me and shone the flashlight on her. What, isn't that woman from the marginalized group? Didn't you come back with her? That is. The man's flashlight moved in a harassing manner near the woman's waist. Ha, so it was like that. Cute guys. Why did you do that without Hyungnim's permission? Hee hee. I'm sorry. No, of course Kyeolsu Hyungnim should be first, hee hee, I was going to do that. Kyeolsu. Kyeolsu. Was there a character by that name? I couldn't remember. He must be nothing, as opposed to how he looked. Hey, hand that woman over to us, huh? What is that? The flashlight shone on the convenience store bags on the floor. It was okay to escape the crisis, but the flow was turning out bad. Leave that as well. Then you can live. To be exact, it wasn't good for these guys, not me. The constellation, prisoner of the golden headband, is annoyed at these people. The constellation, demon-like judge of fire, is angry with the injustice occurring. A bounty scenario has occurred at the request of the constellations. Plus. Bounty scenario, remove the interference. Category, sub. Difficulty, F. Clear conditions, the constellations feel great anger at the disruptors who are obstructing your rapid movements. Neutralize them within. The time limit. Time limit, 5 minutes. Compensation. Failure. Plus. I thought it would be like this. Poor bastards. I got up while holding the thorn. There weren't any minors in the constellations, right? I hoped so. It was because it was now the adult broadcasting time.